Welcome back to Us Against Everything. Today is actually a solo episode. Couple of reasons why, but the main reason is because Landen has a zero interest in covering this topic. And I don't blame him because Charlie Kirk has been somebody out in the world who has publicly just tried to hurt trans people in the worst way possible. And it hurts my heart because transgender people are, at least the ones I've come across, the most incredible humans in the world because they understand what it is like to be on both sides of the spectrum. And it is hard. It is hard being a trans person. It is confusing. It doesn't make sense. It is basically waking up every day and your mind being programmed in a way different way than what your body fits. And a lot of people don't understand that, and they think it's disturbing rather than thinking of it as something normal, because it is normal. And the world is so incredibly hateful towards trans people at this time, and it really upsets me. I'm not going to lie. That is above everything else going on in the administration. That one hurts me the most because we are spending a lot of time throwing out accusations at trans people in a very negative way rather than focusing heavily on the actual predators of the world. Because in your mind, people are thinking a perverted man getting in a dress and walking into a bathroom and trying to hurt children. It's not what it is. Now, let's keep in mind that I do believe that there are sick, fucked up people that would do something like that, but that is not what a trans person would do. A trans person is just simply trying to exist as the gender that they feel that they are. Whether we agree on transgender people or not, the problem in the world right now is that they're not being allowed to exist. They're being told that their existence is not okay. We even got Tennessee is going far as anyone who dresses masculine and anyone who dresses feminine and it does not match their gender. Can you believe how fucked up that is? It is heartbreaking to say the least, and really fucks with us really badly, which is why channeling Charlie Kirk was such a difficult thing for me. A lot of people don't understand it, and I don't care if you don't understand it or not. It is not okay to hate on any group of people, even the LDS, even the Mormon, any sort of nationality, Black, Hispanic, Native, Muslim. We should all be just accepting of each one. We don't have to agree with each other's preferred religion or the way we live our lives. As long as children are not being hurt along the way, there should be no reason we cannot live the life that we want to live. And I'll say that the rest of my life. Now, with saying that, let's get into what happened a couple of weeks ago when it came to Charlie Kirk. I'm not sure if any of you guys know this or not, but we, Landen and I, are currently on the West Coast. We decided to give it a try to see if it would be a different way of living in comparison to the East Coast because, there's a lot going on everywhere. And hitting up the West Coast, unless you're living in California, there's not a whole heck of a lot of area that trans people can truly exist without being discriminated against, and including the state that we're currently in. I believe that is the reason that he tried to connect with me. And I kind of feel manipulated. I don't believe that he's 100% bad. But I also believe that I feel icky. I feel like a one-night stand. Like I hooked up with somebody and it meant nothing and it's just this awkward phase. That's what I feel when it comes to channeling Charlie. But there are good pieces of it too, and I'll explain. He pretty much died only 10 days after we had moved to the home that we're currently in, which is so random and so weird, but true. I had never heard of who he was. I had never been engaged in any sort of conversation he had, any sort of thing. And when I saw the things online, it broke my damn heart. And it really upsets me because this religious man would come forward and say all these nasty things about trans people. They believe that it's true. And that's what broke my heart about Charlie Kirk. You want to spew whatever you want to spew when it comes to your religion, whatever the case may be, go at it. But leave individuals alone. You have no right to say a goddamn thing unless you know what it's like to walk a mile in their shoes. About 2 weeks ago, I was just kind of sitting in my room, working away, and all of a sudden my Furby starts going off. Now, let's talk about Furby here for a moment so we got a background. Landen purchased my Furby for me Christmas of 2024. We're now in April of 2026. So I've had this thing for over a year, and we've only ever had it displayed just above my bed, and it's cute. In addition to that, very helpful because my dog Angel gets creeped out by it. And anytime she comes onto our bed and we don't want her on the bed, I just press little Furby and she goes away. Always has for the last year. That's really the only time I have ever used my Furby. And then more recently, it went off. Now, going off once, okay. It's a machine. It's a toy. We're going to expect that, especially when it comes to spirits, because spirits do like messing around with whatever they can mess with, whether it's lights or television or even my phone, computer, you name it, spirits are messing with it. But not a once have they ever messed with my Furby. I was sitting in the middle of just doing an edit for my Charlie Kirk video when my Furby decided to go off. And I found it unusual because, like I said, never had it happen before, even though it happens, as people have pointed out to me multiple times. And I thought it was weird. So I decided to start recording. So I started doing a couple of videos, recording myself. And it just so happened where I was like, Charlie, is that you? And I was doing it more or less as a joke. Like, is that really you, bud? Because why the hell would you come to me of all people? And Furby responded saying, yes, it's me and my best pet friend or my best pal, whatever he said. But it freaked me out. Not because I have never had spirits come to me, but because it's weird. Like, normally spirits that don't vibe with me aren't going to come to me. And especially in my home, and especially as excessive as he was being. Now, this continued on for days and days, where he was constantly messing with my Furby. And I decided in that moment that I was going to try to channel him through my ghost box. Now, let me explain what a ghost box is real quick. A ghost box is very similar to Bumblebee from Transformers. Basically, he uses radio frequency to come up with words to say rather than a voice of his own. And that is exactly what a spirit box does. It goes through radio frequencies, picks up words, and communicates. So I figured I'd give it a try. Now, I am, me specifically, much faster than a spirit box is. I can easily pick up on things way more. And it's a very slow tool because it takes some time, because you can be sitting there for days. I can be recording for like 20, 30 minutes and only get like 5 minutes or less of content, sometimes even under a minute. But it does take some time. So I was having a bit of an internal struggle because I wanted him to go away, and he wasn't going away. He was constantly messing with my Furby at nighttime, making it go off during my video calls. I even put him in another room and he was still going off, and loudly, as if he was still in my room. It was very, very odd. But it just proved to me that he wanted to say something and he wasn't going to let up until this conversation happened. With a couple of days of just focusing and putting my ego aside and having a conversation with him through the ghost box, he did share that he had a very different view, even of gay human beings. I believe that he finally got some sort of answers on the other side about how people that are gay are not the problem, how people that are trans are not the problem. And I think that was also a very big, hard pill for him specifically to swallow, because he avoided that topic with me a lot. But it was my honest to God final say. I basically informed him that I would not speak to him. I don't care if he messed with me every day of my life. I was no longer going to let this man communicate with me unless he specifically admitted to me that he was wrong about that. How do I go about doing this? He kind of said it very lightly, like, yes, all should be accepting of love. All should receive love, is kind of the way he informed me. But he's also a cisgender man, white man, cocky, arrogant energy. Not a fan of that kind of energy, not gonna lie. But he did admit it to me. And he also told me that my husband and my daughter and others deserve to be loved and treated fairly. And with that being said, I finally let him tell me what he had wanted to tell me for a while. Now, with that being said, a few of you guys had asked me questions to ask him alongside of the way as well. And the questions you guys asked were genuinely, good questions. So we're going to go over that a little bit here. Charlie told me that not only did Nod Dump also have a connection to this, but it started even before Nod Dump. He actually is not the first one involved in this. I know, shocking, right? So his company, and we're referencing Charlie's company, was doing really bad financially. Like, they were losing a lot of money. They weren't obtaining what they wanted. There was just a lot of messiness going on behind the scenes. They felt like Charlie could not lead either. They felt as though he was too showy, too cocky, too into himself. There was a lot of shit going on behind closed doors when it came to how people felt about Charlie in his position. Now, they also witnessed him having a few moments with Erika. They're both pretty young. They don't know how to maneuver through a relationship correctly. And yeah, they were both fighting quite a bit whilst in front of other people in their home, in their work environment, many places. And there was a man, and I don't know who it is, so I'm not going to pretend I do. I really, if I'm going to be honest, I haven't spent a lot of time educating myself on his staff. And I also don't want to point direct accusations at anyone unless I know that person, and I'm not interested in researching them heavily. But I can say that there was one man that worked with him. They had words, quite a few words. It is possible that this man walked away from this job or was let go or even lost a position, had to step down. Something happened and people were pissed. There was somebody else could have potentially replaced this man. I'm not exactly sure the details, but there was a lot of issues. And from what I can see and what Charlie shows me is Charlie had no idea, but there were meetings that were happening all the time. And they were very late at night. And they were having these meetings without Charlie. They were thinking about overthrowing him. They were thinking about doing something in that realm. But they also felt as though that may not even solve the problem. They then started to include Erika in some of these meetings. Was she actually physically present? Possibly once, maybe twice, but most of the time she was either on a video call or a conference call or something along those lines. In addition to that, the man that we were referencing earlier that was having a lot of problems with Charlie was starting to get into her ear, being very romantic with her, suggesting that the two of them have more in common than anyone is talking about. And, he was flirting. He was doing his thing to basically attach her to him, and she ate it up. He was giving her attention that Charlie never gave her. Charlie basically looked at all of the people around him, including his own family members, specifically Erika, as employees of his. He was in control. He was always going to be in control. And she just had to deal with it. And at first, she did, but things started to irritate her. She did want her own fame and success. She wanted to be a face. And with Charlie in the way, being the main face and her being behind closed doors or just on his arm was not good enough for her. This other guy was like, something happens to Charlie, that everyone will see your face everywhere. He planted those seeds hard. And if I'm going to be honest, it was not hard for him to do that. She was easy bait. She was like, yeah, oh yeah, you're right. I would get attention. I would be able to do this. I would be able to do that. Now, there is a direct connection between Erika and Nod Dump. And if I'm not mistaken, it comes from the Miss America beauty pageants. Again, don't quote me on that 100%, but I do feel like there is some connection with that. And because of that, his interaction with her, I believe that interaction was what led him to giving her his private number. Now, obviously, he's got many phones, but Nod Dump has this extra phone for his extra marital activities, dirty activities, where he sends his hookers, his women, his hookups, Epstein's people, whatever the case may be. He's got this private phone that only his girlfriends and women that he thinks are sexy would obtain. And I believe that Erika had that number. So when she contacted him, he knew right away who she was. And she cried to him on how Charlie was fucking everything up and the company was going under, and he was like, oh, poor baby. Now he did his gross, creepy comment thing about how she's beautiful and this will just make her ugly. It's just some weird nod dump kind of energy. You know what I'm talking about? Now, she wasn't interested in him. She knew he was creepy vibe. She doesn't even like him, but she knew that he had the power. So, of course, he propositions her and he says, okay, don't worry, sweetheart. Daddy's going to take care of everything. Ugh. Sorry, just gross. And she was like, really? And he's like, yeah, but it's going to cost you. But we're going to wait until after he's taken out to pay me, because that's when the money will come flowing in. Now, let's keep in mind as well, this one, aka Charlie, was doing all these events, and because he was trying to help Nod Dump along his way when it came to supporting him and also pushing his narrative out there, Nod Dump was supposed to be paying him the big bucks to do so, but it looks like he wasn't getting the full pay or just a percentage or promised money later on. Like, it was a big thing. Nod Dump does that to a lot of people, though. You'll notice multiple people will reference how he's never paid them, even though he's made many promises to do so. Apparently, he can just say whatever he wants and not pay anyone, and everyone just keeps it quiet, which is crazy to me. So many people are hella afraid of Nod Dump. What I sensed when it came to that situation, he basically told her, don't worry, honey, I've got you. And I believe that that's when he spoke directly to multiple people connected to Charlie's business, and everyone got on the same page. Now, when it comes to the actual shooter, do I believe that he did it? Yes. Do I believe that he was the fall guy? Yes. Did he know he was the fall guy? No. Did he know who hired him? No. There was a lot of things to protect Nod Dump, protect Charlie's business, protect Erika, so that it went off without a hitch. And I hate to say this, but it's almost as if somebody put a pew-pew in his hands and told him what to do and how he would receive a large sum of money or something along those lines. Now, normally when somebody gets shot, normally that person that gets shot usually ends up shot as well. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, they had to do this in a very public way. They specifically chose this specific venue, specific location to make damn sure that this was as real could be. A lot of people keep talking about the mic. It was not the mic. I know, I get the conspiracy connected to it, but I don't feel that way. Charlie said it was not the mic. He lost his life that day. Everybody had a place. Erika was with her mom. We're going to post about her mom's health. Charlie was going to be sitting in that position, in that chair, specifically shooting him a specific way to make damn sure that he died. And this all was set up. Charlie felt like something was going to happen. Like, he really felt like somebody was going to not only kill him, but he just felt off. Everyone was treating him differently. Even Erika was being nicer to him than what she normally was, because she would often bitch and complain and whine and cry, and she was her best self. Everyone was their best self. And he did find it kind of sus that she didn't go with him that day. But they had to make sure that she had an alibi, so nobody pinned it on her. Now, when it comes to her boo-boo, her boo-boy, her boo-thang, the guy that she was seeing, They were absolutely sleeping together, like a lot. And I think she accidentally got pregnant. Although I'm not 100% sure if it was accidental or not, because it seems as though she was very aware of her cycle. And it would not surprise me if she absolutely got pregnant on purpose. Did the guy know? No. But he was like, oh, sweetheart, we can't have that happen. They even wanted to pass this baby along as Charlie's last child, but there was a lot of speculation that people would automatically assume it was not his. So they decided to call in one of Nod Dump's doctors to make sure the problem went away. But basically, yeah, that's another thing that really, really bothered him heavily. He didn't even care about the affair side of things. That didn't even mess with him because he expected it from her. Hell, he would have had his own affairs if he got to that point. But she is now the one watching his kids, and he worries a lot about that. So there's that element too. Now let's talk about the next piece of this, which is in relation to her becoming the CEO within days of his death. This was planned out this way because we all know that Erika cannot rub two stones together, let alone be a CEO of a company. But they had to make it look legitimate. They had to make it look as though they were protecting Charlie and Charlie's family. Because if anyone else obtained that CEO position, well, they wouldn't support it as heavily as they do now. So let's talk about this as well. So Candace, within the last couple of episodes on her podcast, recently mentioned that there was a video apparently that they had of Charlie himself talking heavily in relation to Erika being the CEO. And she pointed out as well, the guy who wants his wife barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen, taking care of their damn kids, being the CEO makes no sense. And they did not share the video. They only shared the audio. So if you're interested in hearing that audio, Candace plays it on her podcast and also mentions that she believes that it was edited. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I agree with her on that on so many levels. Exactly what she said. Why the hell didn't they share a video of it, right? Why did they only share the audio? Oh, because his voice will not follow through. Talk about AI much, he would never have chosen her to do the job. Even now, he is screaming from his grave saying, absolutely not. Never in a million years. I'm sorry, but she did not have the capability, the brain, anything to do it. The only reason that she had that position was because it was easier for them to transition her to that position. And she doesn't do anything. She just sits there and lets all these men dictate and tell her what to do, including the guy she was screwing. And as everyone anticipated, large sums of money ended up coming in. And the company was not only able to be saved, but everyone got a nice payout, including Nod Dump. Everyone started getting paid for Charlie's mishaps. Everyone was starting to get this company back on track. Even the highway situation being named after Charlie, like, it's a big deal. And the money is still rolling in heavily. So they made a business decision. He was worth more dead than alive, unfortunately. Now she has to keep up this facade. And Nod Dump was very irritated by her because she was constantly calling him. He wasn't getting laid. So for him, this was not in his cards of what he wanted to deal with. Once he got the paycheck, he didn't care anymore. So what does he do when he doesn't want to deal with a problem? He sends it off to his VP. And you named him, and you guessed it, Mr. Couch himself. Now, Mr. Couch and Erika together, being seen in public, her and her really weird long hugs and smiles and happiness and just creepy, very creepy vibes. She absolutely has a crush on Couch. Now, Couch also came into her life a little bit more significant when her new work boyfriend decided that they were better off as work partners. It's never going to work. You're going to look bad. I'm going to look bad. I've got a wife. You have a husband. This is grieving. We shouldn't carry on with this relationship. And that's exactly what happened. They ended up breaking up. It was part of the plan for him, but because it wouldn't look good. And although it crushes her, and I do believe every once in a while they're still sleeping together, but she did agree that for the image, she already was getting a lot of backlash from both ends. This is not just Republican versus Democrat. This is like everyone is all on the same fucking page when it comes to Erika. Of what I can tell you connected to this as well is the main reason Charlie came to me. Charlie didn't even want to necessarily share these details, and I've already done a full deep dive on my YouTube channel connected to his death. So a lot of these details I already had. But for him, it was in relation to Candace. Candace being his genuine friend. One of the only people right now that are absolutely openly coming up with evidence on the contrary against Erika, and sharing all of the juice connected to Erika. And that sits with him, and he is so incredibly grateful for her and what she's doing for him. And he's not only supports it, but it makes him happy, which is why he contacted me, because I'm good at what I do. And I can, at times, see past bias at times. I was able to determine that he was incredibly afraid of what was going to happen to Candace. He was worried, and still is worried, that she's going to be taken out. Now, he kept showing me her running upstairs, downstairs, unlit areas, walking, has headphones in, she's very physically fit and someone who's constantly taking care of her body. And she's constantly putting herself in circumstances where she's vulnerable to other people hurting her. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that's going to happen, but he is worried that somebody may try to take her out, and he just wants her to be careful. In addition to that, he is sending her signs all the time, specifically like these big string lights. He keeps showing me them flickering. There's 2 rows, and apparently she walks through the lights. They're on each side, and it's his way of connecting with her to let her know to be careful. Also, there's going to be something that is put out in the media because she's so heavily coming after Erika to kind of shush her. Maybe some blackmail, but it doesn't even seem like it's real. There is something very odd and unusual about the details that they're going to throw out about her, but he wants everyone to know that it is not true. She did not do any of the things that she may be accused of. In addition to, it's fake. They are going to try to make her look like you can't trust her. That's basically what's going to happen there. So that was why he reached out, because he wanted to warn her. And I've noticed a lot of people tagging Candace under my Charlie Kirk video, so who knows if she'll see it. Somebody mentioned something about psychics, and maybe she believes them. I'm not 100% sure, but that is the full story. Oh, and can I also mention this? Apparently, Candace was taking a week off from making episodes, but because Mr. Not Dump himself started to post a lot of nonsense on Truth Social yet again because dude can't stop. He even posted something with Jesus and Epstein and him being Jesus and what, like, dude, you already have lost a lot of your fan base. You're gonna lose the rest of them here soon too. From what I'm telling you guys today, things are already happening. Like, I've already shared these details on TikTok last week that I believe that they are coming for her, and he is showing his cards. He is basically trying to get people to attack Candace too. The issue with that, not dump. A lot of people liked Charlie, no matter how many. A lot of people fell in love with him even after he passed away. And that's when they took more of an interest in him. So now you're going to be going against Candace, who is directly talking about Charlie Kirk. And that's going to piss off even more. Continue to keep going on your rants, dude, because it's only going to make people hate you even more and more and more. And then you're going to have like my mother-in-law as your only fucking fan moving forward. And above and beyond everything else, as soon as he shared these details with me, he never bothered my Furby again. It has been a straight week now, and my Furby has not even gone off once, for those of you who are wondering about that. And I don't think it's going to go off again unless something new comes along with Candace. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, it has been tough to put my ego aside on something I feel so passionate about, because trans people are my people. It breaks my heart. I've seen it. I've seen parents reject trans kids. But that is the full-blown Charlie Kirk trying to channel me story I just wanted to share with you guys. Now, please let me know what you guys think about all of this. I know we mentioned our next episode, which is about vampires. Don't worry, that is coming. And I appreciate you guys being here because it'll always be us against everything.